Okay, I think we live. Good evening, everyone.
What's up, everybody? We live? I don't see it live at the top on here. We might be though. Let me send this. I just seen somebody just message me on Facebook and said, "How can I get the link?"
I'm just sending everybody a YouTube link, but technically the Facebook link works now. So I do have a Facebook link, but the YouTube link so everybody can share and subscribe. If you are here with us this evening, welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on into the chat and say hi to us so we know that you're here and
What's
that
up, everybody? Happy Friday. What's up with y'all? I gotta be.
let
Yep.
us know where
There,
you are watching from.
Yeah, I see it. Say we live on Facebook.
Okay, excellent, excellent. I know we have a few people share, and so hopefully we have some good people hop in so they can give us some good feedback on tonight's letter because we got another good one. Yes, happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday.
I don't know why my iPad is zooming like that, but it's okay. I gotta feel pretty.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in the chat. Let us know you're here. Hey, Will. Happy Friday.
My brother, what's going on? How you feeling? How baby MJ over there? MJ
What's the baby's
tuned.
name again?
MJ Malachi Jenkins.
Okay.
Baby Malachi ready tuned into some Finance Friday.
Yes, yes. I did a career day today at a middle school in Prince George's County. And for the first time ever, I spoke to kindergartners. And it's always one person in the room. I'll just share this quick story. It's always one person, no matter what, in the room that is going to kind of catch my attention. And no matter what, while everybody's flipping and jumping and so forth, no matter what grade it is, it's always somebody that's tuned in. And I had one sixth grader today, and I mean, he was locked. He was locked in, like, yeah, I'm about to get this money. And I was just like, well, I know what they talking about in your house because he was definitely. I said, anybody ever heard of a real estate agent? He raised his hand. He said, "Y'all, my parents got approved for a loan." I was just like, okay. I was like, how old are
Yeah,
you?
shorty.
Yeah. And he looked at me. He was like, yeah, because I'm gonna be a rich man. I was just like, okay. Yeah. So that was like the highlight of my day today. But welcome everyone. I'm going to possibly hop right on in. I am Dr. Ebony MacArthur, broker owner at MacArthur Realty Group, broker in Maryland, DC, Virginia, and Pennsylvania. And welcome to Finance Friday, the CEO Lounge. And I am here with none other than my son and my co-host.
I'm I Am Brand CEO, everybody. Monte Newsom.
Yes, we have a really, really good letter again today. So I'm ready to jump right in it. Oh, Will said MJ just woke up from that race tuning. Okay, okay.
You're gonna be a sponge to this information.
Yes, make sure he listen in. Um, hey, thanks for tuning in. Voices of the Trenches. Thanks for tuning in.
Appreciate you for tapping in on your lunch break. That definitely mean a lot. You were on lunch and tuned in. We appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We definitely do. Yeah, we'll put this information up to the baby's ears because I'm telling you, in this economy, they need to know this stuff from birth. It's like when they have the memes that show somebody like in a little baby carriage at the hospital, it's like I should have bought my house and this is how I should have purchased my first home. Like,
Yeah,
yes,
it'd be like if I knew it was gonna be this tough, I would have started saving my money in middle school.
yes.
I would have been charging y'all for every piece of gum, every pencil, every piece of lead y'all needed back
Yes,
then. I was charging.
everything. Everything.
I know exactly who you is. That's Maurice. What's up, my boy?
Okay. Thanks for tuning in.
I had just seen your DM, so that's why I just messaged you back just now. I just got off work, so I just seen you right now. But let's jump straight into it.
Yeah, we're gonna jump straight into it. We have a really, really good letter, and this person has 3 or 4 questions. So once I read through the letter, we're gonna take one question at a time tonight. So, dear Dr. Eben, I am Brand CEO. Thank you for creating a safe space to talk about money because honestly, I can't talk to my friends or family about this without feeling judged. I'm a 34-year-old woman, married for 6 years, and from the outside, we look like a power couple. Nice homes, nice cars, vacations on Instagram, the whole picture. But behind closed doors, our finances are a mess and it's starting to affect our marriage. Here's the part I've never told anyone. My husband has no idea I'm $22,000 in credit card debt. I didn't start with anything crazy. At first, it was small things like helping my mom, covering childcare, then a few treat yourself moments when I felt stressed. Then I started using credit to keep up appearances. Hair, clothes, brunches, trips with friends. I kept telling myself I'd pay it off when my bonus came, but the balances just kept growing. Now the minimum payments alone are almost $700 per month. Meanwhile, my husband is very into investing and savings. He talks about stocks, real estate, and retiring early. He thinks I'm on the same page, but the truth is I'm really living paycheck to paycheck trying to hide this debt. It gets worse. He recently started talking about buying an investment property and asked to review our finances together. I panicked and told him my accounts were fine and that I can handle my side by myself. The guilt is really eating me up. I love my husband, but I'm scared if I tell him he'll feel betrayed or think I'm irresponsible. Part of me also feels resentful because he earns more than I do and doesn't understand the pressure I feel to look the part. So here are my questions. Number 1, how do I come clean without blowing up my marriage? Number 2, should couples combine finances or keep things separate? Number 3, realistically, can someone recover from this kind of debt without filing bankruptcy? I want more peace than I want designer bags. I just don't know where to start. Please keep me anonymous, but I hope my story helps someone else feel less alone. Signed, drowning in debt, but ready for change. So let's start with the first question.
Hey, Miss Rochelle, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, we have some more people tuning in. Thanks for being here.
Maurice said she better off just being honest. He gonna find out we all make mistakes.
Yeah, we say this week after week, you better off being honest. But let's take this one question at a time. So how do I come clean without blowing up my marriage?
You come like I'll go first. Like it's honestly just that simple, honestly. Like I feel like a marriage is like an agreement. Like a marriage is a promise, and a form of a covenant. Like so if you being secretive or you not already being honest about coming in the door with your finances.
Hey Shay.
Hey Shay, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, I feel like if you're in a marriage, like you should be Maltese fall. She should just come out and be honest. Like, it's not going to change. I feel like, and I'll just relate this back when I was a kid. Like, my mom used to always tell me, like, if you're going to ask me for something, just ask me. Like, if I'm going to say no, I'm going to say no regardless. It don't matter if you ask me on Tuesday or Thursday. My answer probably going to be my answer anyway. So I would just, be upfront. That's the easiest way to just, get straight to the point, nip it straight in the bud, just be upfront. Like at this point, you're already $22,000 in debt. It can't really get much worse. So it's time to just, start bringing the problem to the surface so that you can get to the solution more rather than just continuing to hide it and being scared of what he might say.
Hey, Mr. Wright, I see you tuned in. Thanks for being here.
Appreciate you.
I definitely agree. So how can I come clean without blowing up my marriage? Like you gotta come clean. Like all of this, like week after week after week of these lies and all this stuff y'all doing is enough is enough. Like for Christ's sake, you're gonna make it worse. So I mean, it can't get no worse unless you continue to lie. So I mean, it's not gonna get better if you stay on the track that you're on. So you have to come clean with this. Honestly, in my opinion, 22K ain't a lot. It's not like you saying you 322K.
Yeah.
Y'all can work together to possibly get out of that. And if he's trying to get into finances and real estate and trying to get himself together, again, we say this every single week, like time and time again, I see so many couples where one person trying to do one thing, the other person on a different time, like on a whole different page, and it just doesn't work like that. Everybody's trying to, and I know she talked about in the letter, all the Instagram facade and all of that stuff. I mean, we see that time and time again, trying to keep up with those things, but just being honest and getting on the same page, like that's when you can truly live that life. Like it's not impossible to live that life, but starting it out this way is just going to never pan out at the end the way you want to. And now it's just going to get deeper and deeper into lies, because just like you said, they tell you when you're a kid, you start these lies. Now you got to constantly live in these lies over and over and over. So every time you have a conversation, now you're making up a new lie. Or you say, I might help her.
Maurice said he might help her, talking about her husband, which, like you said, I feel like if they confront it now, I mean, you'll be surprised what teamwork can do. They say, if you want to go far, you go by yourself. You want to go fast, you go by yourself. You want to go far, you go with a team. So you already being married, you kind of have your team with y'all two together. So $22,000, that's like $11,000 a piece. You'll be surprised how much you can cut that of just 6 to 12 months of discipline and teamwork. So, I mean, rather than hiding it from them, y'all need to put together a plan and try to start chipping away at that debt. It's time to stop worrying about your appearance. And like you said, it's like the third or fourth week in a row where, I mean, it's not the same story, but it's like, y'all are bluffing. Like, why is y'all out here bluffing? The first thing you got to do is be honest with yourself. Like, we was just talking about this.
Shay said, gotta be honest and stop trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah, like most people out there are faking anyway. Like I said 2 weeks ago, I don't even believe half the stuff that I see on social media. Like most of the time, if a person is acting happy, 90% of the time, they probably going through some stuff. Most of the time, they taking trips or buying this, buying that, $100,000, this, that. They might not even have, like, don't compare yourself to the next person's life. And I was just having this conversation the other day because you never know what somebody else has. Like you might be comparing yourself to somebody who, they drive this type of car and they can spend this on drinks and spend this on clothes, but they might not have they might not have no real responsibilities. They might not have no bills. They might not have no children. Like, so you can't really compare yourself to somebody else and try to keep up with the Joneses. You got to, do what's worked best for you. And especially if you're in a marriage, like why are you out here trying to impress the internet or impress other people when you only person you really should be trying to impress is yourself and your husband?
Yeah, I always say my marriage is my secret weapon. Like, I don't know why people keep using their relationship against them. Like, it's now two people. Like, I mean, it can't get no better than that. It's two people. Oh, he said, I need help. Like I always say that, like my marriage is my secret weapon. Oh, Rome said
teamwork make the dream work.
Yeah, like
that part definitely got to be honest with yourself. Self-evaluation is definitely needed.
Absolutely. Like let that be your secret weapon. Like even if I always say if one person can cover the bill, so it seems like the husband is in good standing pretty much, and she said he makes more money, then why is it that y'all not sitting down having a conversation, maybe allowing him to take that load, which might be something on him, but your full income, even if it's only $20,000 a year, that's $10,000 a year that could be saved. That's $10,000 a year. Even if you get $7,000 a year saved, I promise you that's more than what most people can save in a year. And then maybe you have a little bit where she's handling the trips or she's handling some of the investments, but he's handling the bills. Like, turn your relationship into your secret weapon, not necessarily weaponizing your relationship where y'all are going against each other. Like that all of that just never makes sense to me. Like I just don't understand that at all. Like y'all not working together and working against each other is just, it's all bad. It's just all bad. Yeah, and the lies is all bad.
I was gonna say, I don't really understand the part where she said that her husband doesn't understand the pressure that she has to feel to look the part. you should never feel the pressure to look the part. Like we were just talking about the other day, Adam Sandler literally sat in the Grammys in basketball gym shorts and a hoodie with his hood up. And he at the Grammys where everybody got on the bow tie. So, I mean, you shouldn't feel the pressure to look the part. There's millionaires out here. You can look at people like Wallow and Gilly all the time. You're not going to see them with no bust down chains or necklaces. So I feel like that just comes down to who you are in here, who you are as a person. Who are you when the doors is closed, when nobody watching? It don't matter if you're a millionaire, a billionaire, or you just regular middle class. Like, you're going to have that same character. So you shouldn't have no pressure to look the part or look a certain type of way. And, you know, you should just be open with your husband about that so that he will understand, or you shouldn't feel as though that he's not going to understand you. Y'all got to have those tough conversations, especially when it's involving finances.
Yeah, Brandon said you're nothing without your partner. Two heads will always be better than one. That's what I be saying. Like maybe, and sometimes I try to take a step back because I've been married my whole life. I always say that, you know, my whole adult life I've been married. So sometimes people will say I have bias towards it, like, oh, Ab, you just saying that. But it's really the truth. Like it really is the truth that we went in day one looking at it in that same manner. Like it's no reason to be going against each other when we can achieve so much more if we just stick together. Like I don't understand that at all. Like just stick together and work together, stop all the lies, you know, stop all the games and stop all the playing.
Miss Nicole gets it. Miss Nicole gets it. She said you can look good on the budget. I saved myself $100 by doing my own nails.
Absolutely. I do my own everything. That's another thing that that's like another fun fact about Dr. Ab. I do my own everything. Like even sometimes people will ask me, you know, you don't have anybody that cleans that big house? I'm like, absolutely not. I clean my own house. I mop my own floors. I do my own laundry. I do my own brows, my own makeup, my own everything. I do my own hair. Anytime you see my hair, I do my own everything. Like it's absolutely fine. But like you said, it's a piece of that social media world. And we just can't get away from that right now because so many people, you know, every photo is someone's, you know, like you said, their watch, their jewelry, their cars, all of those things. And people just really feel the need to keep up with that for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? And they rather live the lie than to honestly get their finances together. Like it's okay to budget a little bit, take a step back. And like she said, at this point, you just charging on your credit card just to keep up appearances.
Yeah, and I feel like she is honestly kind of making it worse, like at this point, because she literally was saying like her husband is ready to start talking about investments and he want to review the accounts together, and she's still like being a little slick, like, oh, my side good, like my accounts is good, knowing you're $22,000 in credit card debt. So it's like, I mean, you can't really hide that for too long. So I feel like a lot of people feel like, and I was having this conversation the other day as well, this week actually, I feel like a lot of people feel as though they behind the eight ball because of social media, or because they looking at other people. Like there's never been another time in life where you can see somebody who's 18 or 21 years old that's driving a Lamborghini or has millions of dollars besides now. So now everybody in their 20s and early 30s and late 30s, even early 40s, mid 40s, like you still not behind the eight ball. It's always time. Like $22,000 may seem like a lot, but like I said, with two people and you know you doing your own nails, saving $100 here and there, like you'll be surprised how fast you'd be like, oh, we got $4,500 left, babe. Like we might, like you just gotta, you know, take the step to start getting it down. But if you continue to just lie and try to be secretive, I mean, you're only gonna get out what you put in. So it's time to just start, you know, making that
change. A comment that says she may need to just get off of social media for a while to figure out who she really is. Exactly. Get off of it. Have a seat. Get off everything. Like if that's bothering you and you feel like you have to keep up with it, have a seat. Like I'm quick to disappear from the world for 6 months. The world might not see me for 2 years and I pop back out because I know when to have a seat and when it's just time to regroup and to rethink. So I feel like that's a lesson that most people don't know. Like, hey, Ada, good evening.
Good evening. How you doing?
Is to just have a seat, like get off of everything for a moment, because it doesn't sound like she has a business that's online. She didn't say, and I mean, at least she didn't say in the letter that she has some kind of brand she's maintaining online. So if you just maintaining, you know, just because you want to floss on us, then just get on over.
Yeah, you know a few treat yourself moments.
Exactly.
And
All right, let's go to the second question because I want to get all her questions in. So it says number 2, should couples combine finances or keep things separate? I am a believer in, I have no problem with combining finances. Like it's okay. I know that people do this. And to me, it's all still like playing the game a little bit. Like to say, oh, let's have, and don't get me wrong. I know, let me take a step back. Some people will have like one joint account where they are paying household bills and then still have, I'll have my own, you have your own, things like that. Again, I'm about to be married 20 years coming up. I really believe in, if you all in, then just be all in. Why y'all still playing against each other where I gotta have this separate over here, that separate over here? I always tell people, as long as when my husband swiped that card, it worked. He don't care where it's coming from, what it's connected to, who got this together. Is wherever he going at, when he swipe, it better go through. It better work. So that's all that matters. So everybody just gotta know their boundaries and their rules, you know what I'm saying? Or not even rules, but just like have a conversation about their comfort zone and boundaries. Again, just knowing those boundaries in your relationship as far as finances, where, if you keep on watching, finances to that extent, then now it's going to feel like, somebody saying to you, well, I want to make sure I have this over here just in case, and that's how I feel like women are living their lives, and men may be doing it also. So I'm gonna have some of the men chime in the chat, but I know my ladies are definitely like, I gotta have my secret over here because in case this act up, in case something happened, this, that, and the other, then they want to have their own money on the side. But really, you hurting yourself a little bit. Like work together is always going to be my answer.
Jules, what you agree about? Jules said, honestly, I agree. And Miss Rochelle says she will have to be consistent and not charge more once the debt decreases. I mean, my response to that is just, I'm not married, so, I would listen to, my mom on that. I feel like whatever works for you works for you. That's what I feel like. I feel like the first step, Will said, definitely, I like that idea of one joint account and still have full transparency. That's what I feel like it would have to come down to. Like, whether you join them together, whether y'all do some together and some side to side, but then I feel like the transparency is the most important part. Like this episode of Martin and Gina where they put all that money together in the cookie jar, but then they still got a little something over here. So I feel like, it's just if I'm being honest, it's in human nature to, be greedy and like have a bit of greed. So you have to make sure that your discipline overrides your greed, because then that'll start affecting your household and stuff like that. So you got to understand like who your partner is and understand that money is not everything. And that, okay, if we can combine this, then yeah, we can get this 22,000 back to zero. And now we can start going to go buy a little stuff for ourselves and stuff like that. And also, I just want people to understand that just with credit cards in general, like credit card is still debt. So if you have $100,000 in funding on your credit card, or you have a $50,000 credit card limit or something, that's still debt. That's not just money that you can just go and buy you a Benz with. Like you still got to have money that's cash flow coming in order to replace that back. So before y'all just start spending and opening lines of credit, like I was saying last week about the investments, you have to still educate yourself and learn exactly what it is you're getting into. But I feel like definitely the transparency and it just comes down to the communication at the end of the day. I feel like no matter if you have your own account, joint accounts, like it's going to come down to the communication and, just being honest and transparent with one another.
Yeah. And I always say, even someone who's been married as long as I have, I always say, I don't give marriage advice because don't listen to what I do. It might not work for you. I promise you. I don't know your person. I don't know your partner. But for me, we've just always done everything together, and it's just worked like that, where that trust is there. So it's just that level of not only communication, but that level of trust. So I feel like when I see people in relationships doing that and feeling as though, I need to still have something kind of tucked away, they're doing it, but that sense of security, because they really do feel like in case a rainy day hit, they don't trust the other person to make sure that things are going to be okay, where, that's just a whole line of trust and communication. Will said, but if it comes to a point you plan and escape money, some carnivals need to be hit. Exactly. That's what I'm basically trying to say. I'm trying to say, like, if you're planning an escape fund, you know what I'm saying, where I mean, I don't have an escape fund sitting somewhere, and I never have. You know, whatever my income level was versus his at any stage of our lives when we were younger, whatever. Like, I never had that sitting aside. Like, we always work together to help each other. So, just say, for instance, in the letter, if that was one of us with the 22,000 and he had it, if you had that conversation, or if I had it, then the other person would be doing whatever they need to do to help that other person, you know, help each other get out of that situation. And then we'll start stacking again together. You know what I'm saying? Like, we never did those things where sometimes I hear people in relationships, they'll say, you know, that they have $15,000 saved, but they'll be like, yeah, because, you know, my credit score good, I got money saved, but you know, he might have a 500 and he ain't really got much. It's like, how you got $20,000 saved and your husband got $500 and a 500 credit score? Like, if you don't take that 20,000 and start paying off his credit card so y'all can both get up, like, I just don't understand that. Like, I'm never going to have lump sums of money like that, knowing that my spouse, you know, could possibly need the support, and then I just hold on to it and just give them the side eye and look at them like, yeah, I'm doing good, but you doing bad, and we married. Like, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like that goes back to the communication and the transparency. It don't matter if you're in a relationship, if you're doing business, like it take a lot to, you know, trust somebody with your money, and it also take a lot for you to go out and earn your hard-earned money and earn the stuff that you have, and then to give it to somebody else. But it's also, you have to understand the bigger picture. The same as like if y'all was on here last week, or just in general, like how parents, you know, raise their children, like they are making sacrifices for the bigger picture and stuff like that. So you just want to know who you're dealing with before you know, get in too deep. Y'all want to start being able to have these type of conversations and things like that, because I don't know if y'all heard, just an example, Dak Prescott was supposed to be getting married in, I think, a week or 2 weeks. And they said literally a week or so before the wedding, he was wanting his wife to sign a prenup, I guess, and she wasn't on board to that. And they had to call the entire wedding off just because of, you know, money plans and stuff. So I feel like both parties out here, whether you men or women, both want to feel as though that they're secure. I've been seeing a lot more women like pushing the marriage narrative and wanting to feel as though they are secure, especially if, you know, having children and stuff out here and creating families. Then a lot of women like to, you know, be secure. They don't want to be left just being a single mom and trying to figure it out like that. So these are the conversations that you need to have with your partner, whether it's your relationship partner or your business partner. Just, you know who you're dealing with and have the tough conversations. Like, the only way to get around it is to have the tough conversations. Will say Dak should have been brought that to her attention. Yeah, I mean, you're a multi-million-dollar quarterback athlete. Like, you should have already had that conversation. Like, hey, babe, how do you feel about a prenup? And then y'all can go from there. Not wait until the invitation's already sent out. Everybody have their tux and, you know, dresses, and now all of a sudden y'all canceling the wedding because y'all didn't have a conversation about finances beforehand.
Well, that specific situation, just to pivot slightly.
Rome said she wasn't with him shooting in the gym. Dak said, no, you won't.
Y'all, that's my husband. Ignore him. Listen, one thing I will say about that specific situation is you can already tell the trust was not there, because this is what I don't like. I mean, it's a new thing that people are doing. To me, it's weird. And I know Rome will agree it's weird. Like, soon as they said they were having this joint, what is it called before the
You might say, is that my will?
Oh, no, that's not your will, Ada. She was saying, because we keep saying will in the chat. No, that's another will. What is it called before you get married? Not the bridal shower, but the Rome, what is it called when the man has it? And the
bachelor party and stuff.
Bachelor party, yes. Yeah. They had a combined bachelorette party, like stuff like that. To me, is weird stuff.
Trace must be right there. He said, "I believe she kept delaying the signing."
That's what they were saying. They said that you know, it was put out in the media that maybe he presented it to her like right 2 days before the wedding. But like you said, it just kept being delayed over and over and over for whatever reason she didn't sign. But again, without knowing any information, when they said they reported that it was a joint bachelorette party, like when I see people do that, it's often because of those trust factors.
They don't trust.
Yeah, like I
Yeah, that, I
mean,
didn't even know that. That's corny. I'm not having no joint bachelor party. Like, you go do your thing. I'm going to do my thing tomorrow. We locked in forever. Like, we
yeah, it's
not.
just like it's weird to me. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like you gonna live your whole life every time he go out, you gonna be standing right beside him, you know what I'm saying? Or anytime he go out with his boys or vice versa, then you gonna be right there where it's like, like that's too
We'll
um
say, yeah, we not doing that together. Yeah, I want to know how does the chat feel about them? Like, I mean, because I feel like they've been together for a while. So for you to get down to wedding week and then to cancel the wedding,
oh
Jules talking about
Josie
she
said
had Jules, I'm gonna be at your bachelor party. I will be there. So
we know Josie ain't playing. She having a joint bachelor party.
I just feel like that's a silly reason. I don't want to say stupid. I just feel like that's a silly reason on her end, where it's like if you are about to marry this multi-million-dollar man, and it's not
You
for the
already
money,
have multiple
and,
children with, you know,
and
you
y'all
already
already been together and stuff. You said they do have multiple kids together.
yeah, I think they have multiple little ones. I think a few under the age of 5.
Yeah, I just feel like why like are you only in it for the money? Because the prenup is only for if things don't work. Like if we live happily ever after, what we tripping about? Like the prenup can get signed and just sit over there or don't get signed. But I mean, I feel like that's only if you're planning for things like you're planning for the worst. If y'all is on the same mindset of no matter what happens, we're gonna make this work. I feel like it doesn't matter if you have a prenup or don't have a prenup because we in it for the all together. Yeah, my siblings is in here cutting up right now.
My other children are in the chat, y'all.
Jules talking about why would you need a last night of freedom? Jules, you understand. Rome says she wanted the money. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like that's kind of crazy. I mean, if he did want to just secure it, and I seen, like I said, I'm not married. I'm just chiming into the conversation now that I'm in it now. But I feel like I seen they was talking about on the podcast on Truth After Dark with Paul Pierce and the girl that be on his podcast. They was basically saying how, like I said, a lot of women want that security. So Paul Pierce was saying, what if you don't get the prenup and stuff, but you basically set aside, like you put a house in, your wife or fiance's name, you put an account right here. Hey, this is your account. This is your house. Like you basically set them up with things. Hey, you in my will. Like I put you in my will and things like that. So it can be ways around, I guess that you won't be just, left stranded if something does go left. But I'm not married, so I don't know. That's why I asked for all of y'all input.
Yeah, that's what Ada just said. It's conditional to a point where it's just like you said. It's already seemed to be some kind of trust factor there. She is obviously feeling like she doesn't trust him enough to make sure, even if things go left, that she won't be taken care of. It's just one of those things too. Like, hopefully, you get into a marriage where someone even respects you enough where they wouldn't want to see you just down and out. But I do understand the flip side of it. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, then it can go really, really left. But as soon as they said this joint bachelorette stuff, I was already like,
yeah, I will. So I will wonder now, like, what happens now? Is she just filing for child support, or like, what is your support since you
I
got
mean,
weddings off? What
weddings
are you
off.
doing
Maybe they
now?
just went back home the way they were before before the wedding was on. Just a family at home with their children because yeah, wedding's off. He decided, and maybe if she needed more time respectfully, then she should have said that. Why you on the boat at the bachelorette party combined and you need more time for your attorneys to review it or whatever that may be, then some other things may have been pushed. But to have all your family and friends, we talked about that last week, like the courage to do certain things. Like that takes a lot of courage to have all your family and friends there and for him to just call it off. You know what I'm saying? Like the wedding was happening and they were there celebrating, flying people in probably from all over. And now, it's a wrap.
Yeah, Rome said, what did she bring to the table? Are you sure they have kids?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
read that they have kids. Yeah, they do have children.
Oh yeah, it says he has two children with his ex-fiance.
Yeah, I read that they have 2 children. And I
Yeah,
think they're young too.
yeah, I just don't really. He said they sitting there talking, taking celebratory shots, and Dak brings out the prenup papers. Hey, Thrill, what? He said, not so fast.
Exactly. It's
Me
just
and
like
you know
y'all over
who.
there.
Me and
Oh,
you know who are ready to do the bad boys move on any of you baby significant others. We will Locked and loaded. LOL.
Oh, yeah. Ada comes locked and loaded at all times. At all times. Yeah, it's like I don't understand it. Like you said, they on the boat celebrating, and some people were reporting, and some other podcasts I was seeing that in this joint bachelorette, that maybe she saw something that really drew, her attention, and something happened where it's like that's another reason why are y'all together on this joint bachelorette any old way. So you sitting there with and your girlfriend's there, which is probably something she may have tolerated, and I'm just speculating, but maybe something she may have tolerated in private. And now all your family and friends sitting there looking at something, you know what I'm saying? And not necessarily saying even it was something that he was doing. Maybe his homeboys was doing something and she didn't like it. And like now it's making her look some kind of way. But some people were reporting that as well, where it's just like, it's just all weird. They shouldn't have been there together anyway. Ada said, you and Jerome just need to have our bail money. Yes. Yeah, it's like, why are y'all together on this joint bachelorette party any old way? Like, to me, that was just completely weird.
Yeah, I think the lady from the letter had one more question, but before her third question, I just was going to say, like, to everybody on here, no matter what your age is, if you're a millennial, Gen Z, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, I feel like this is just one of the most important times to just be transparent, one with yourself, and with your circle and the people around you and stuff like that. Like, we in a time where we literally seeing social media pages that's completely AI, like completely artificial intelligence. So it's like I said, I don't believe in nobody out here anyway. Everybody, is going through their own fight. Everybody going through their own battles. So I feel like you shouldn't put yourself into a more difficult situation. And with her saying that now her credit card payment monthly is $700, it's like you should have been sat down and had this conversation with your husband, or you should have been, stop swiping that card for different stuff, because $700, you almost had a card note on your credit card now.
Yeah,
like,
you drowning. Like, you starting to drown. And she said she don't make that much income, so it's very different if she has a substantial income and now you can get yourself out of it where you need him at this point. So it's just like I definitely don't understand that. At this point, you just drowning. And talking about, we talked about that last week. You talking about, first I was helping my mom, then I was treating myself. Like, you just using a credit card, you whipping it out as if it's same as cash. Like, maybe you should cut it up to stop yourself or something. Like, you want to have to do some kind of maintenance.
Brunches and trips. And like we were saying last week, I feel like that just makes it a lot worse. Like, it's okay. Everybody is not as financially responsible. And when some people do get large sums of money, if you open your first credit card and it's for $30,000, $50,000, you're like, oh man, I'm gonna just spend a little $1,000 and put it back. Like, you might do think that, but it gets to a point where you like, now you using it on trips, and I'm sneaking it for clothes and this and that, where it's like now you are kind of snooping behind your partner's back to do stuff that, it's not cheating, but in a way it's like, it gives me like financial cheating or something like that. Like you said, it doesn't, with Rome, like in y'all relationship, as long as there's something money on the card and he can get what he need to get, he don't really care where it's coming from. Like, that's what y'all, set that boundary and set that agreement to have. So I feel like with her snooping around, now she's kind of asking us as though she's hesitant or afraid to even approach her husband and have the conversation with it. And that's somewhere where you don't want to be in your relationship, where you can't, come and talk to your partner about anything else, especially the person that you're supposed to be doing it for, sickness and health with.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, she has one more question. So the third question says, and realistically, can someone recover from this kind of debt without filing bankruptcy? And my answer, from a finance perspective, is absolutely. Like, that's not a lot of debt at all. It's just that you are not taking the time to have a seat, to write everything down, to budget, to partner with your husband. If y'all are doing this separate account thing where he don't know what you have, you don't know what he have, but he financially stable, he may have 22 over there sitting. So y'all might have a conversation. And if he is, all in, he might be like, all right, let me put half on that. You put 10 on, I still hold on to 12 in my account. And then when I get paid again, we'll try to chop it down. But even paying that $22,000, even in half, will start increasing your credit score. Like, all of those things are going to be like a trickle down effect. So it's really just opening that line of communication. And I'm one of those people always say communication is the key. I really don't believe that, because you could be talking to somebody and till you're blue in the face and you have no results. So talking alone does not work. So I don't know if communication alone is the key, but communication is a part of the key. So you really need to have that communication, that trust, set some boundaries. Like it's a lot of different things that's going to come into play. Not only communication. I will say 100% recover from that debt and tell them grab my budget planner. Yes, get online and grab my budget and expense tracking planner. Put all your debt in there. It'll tell you your debt payoff day automatically. Thanks, Will, for plugging me so that you can be able to pay that off. But it's not a lot. And it may seem like a lot depending on, again, they don't say what their income is. So I'm not going to, say that maybe in their mind it's not a lot of it don't seem like it's a lot of debt that they can't take care of, because maybe their income, this is a lot of debt. It really depends on your debt to income ratio is debt for that reason. But in the larger scheme of things, it's not a lot to get paid off. Even if some things are on collection, like I wouldn't run and file bankruptcy on that. I would try to, if you have some stuff in collections, I would try to, again, call and settle the debt. Always say smile and dial. Call the collection people, put a smile on your face. You don't get the answer that you want, hang up and call again. A lot of times these places are just call centers. Like it's just a room, call centers all over. You dial this 800 number. You can call a debt collector 10 times back to back to back, and you won't get a different person every single time. Call again tomorrow, get a different person every single time. Obviously, don't tell them you're trying to get an investment property. They're going to think you're desperate, and then they're not going to, settle with you. Just say, I want to get this cleared up. I've owed these things for a long time. I don't want to file bankruptcy. I just want to see if I can possibly settle. Like, I think a lot of this stuff could easily get resolved, but this $700 a month, I don't know if that's one card or if it's multiple cards, it's up to $700 a month. But like you said, that's what's eating away at your income right there.
Yeah, I would agree. And I just would definitely want to piggyback and make sure everybody understand. Like, I definitely also agree that communication is not the only, fact that it would have to be like clear-cut communication and understanding, making sure that the person is understanding what you're saying so that you're not, wasting your breath and wasting your time and, stuff like that. So I definitely agree that I think they can get out of the debt. It's so many different resources out here. Like Will just said, you can get the Finance Friday, the Dr. Ebb, she has a budget planner. You can get that. You can literally go to ChatGPT and type the same exact letter in ChatGPT and say, hey, Chat, I'm $22,000 in debt with my husband right now. Create me a plan to get out of this debt within X amount of months. Create me a plan to get out of this debt within 18 months, 12 months. Like, it's different resources that you can use and just take it step by step to, get to. It's not going to happen overnight. So you got to understand, as long as it took you to get into that debt, give yourself the same amount of time to get out of it. I believe she said she only 34 or something like that. So, I mean, you're under 35 years old. Like, you got plenty of time. It's no rush. Like I said, that's why I said at the beginning, like, don't compare yourself to other people. The same way you felt as though you was under pressure to, look the part, feel under pressure to, get yourself back in order and get your finances back in order and get yourself and your relationship back in order as well.
Yeah, Ada has a real good statement. It says, in my relationship from the beginning of dating, we have always operated as if if your money is my money. We just didn't combine accounts. We just added each other to each other's accounts. So it's truly about trusting who you plan on being with. Now, if you're dating, then hold off to combine. I agree. On the other hand, if there's no plan to be married, then protect the assets is going to your person. Since you're not married, do we say trust at that point? So I agree. We never truly, I know the letter said like combine accounts, but like you said, we've never technically combined accounts in my relationship either. It was just, I got added. Like, I feel like I'm still on Rome's account from back when I was like 19 or 20 years old or something. I just jumped on his stuff. And then eventually some of my things I even phased out for other investment accounts and things like that. And then throughout our relationship, we just opened new accounts, but was always on them. So we're just on everything, even for like asset protection purposes, things like that. Like, it just makes sense. But the only reason why I say again that I see people do that is usually that trust factor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I helping people purchase homes. I see and hear everything. You know what I'm saying? People will call me and say, listen, I know y'all said we can afford $2,500 a month, but I want to stay right around $1,500 because that's when I can afford myself, and they saying that for it's not funny, but it's really the truth. Ada said what we did was unusual, but it felt natural. To me, that's not unusual. Like that's what people do. But I mean, like I said, that's I get that all the time. We can afford more, but let me get what I know I can cover. And typically I see it more in women that are doing that. So I'm not gonna take you outside tonight, ladies. I see women doing that a little more than I see my gentlemen that are my clients doing that, or customers that are coming to even ask questions. They're typically all in. Like a lot of the guys, they can't wait to have their family. They want to put their girl up and their kids in a beautiful home. You know what I'm saying? They willing to take the blow of that $2,500 a month to, they'll do overtime. They'll do whatever. I want this house for my family. It's typically the ladies that are like, listen, I like a nice house. I'm gonna still find something nice, but it has to be something I can afford. And only they know the reason why they're saying that. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's not my place to step in, because maybe something in their relationship, they know somebody can't be trusted or somebody out there lying. So they want to make sure that they protect themselves. But to me, all of this is kind of a trust factor.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You don't want to end up like Sarah Ramos and cancel your wedding with Dak Prescott because you try to have you a little something over here to the side. So I feel like, just like I said, just understanding, we in a huge time of understanding and, just transparency, like understanding what you're investing in, understanding what your purpose is in life, understanding who your partner is, understanding who your circle of friends is, just understanding what people is in your life for, and, just being transparent with yourself. So that comes.
Ada said she meant a trust. Oh, like an actual trust. Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah. Or things like that. Like if you want to protect your assets, it's tons of ways to do that. Or like you said, if y'all in that situation and it is a trust factor, I mean, it's always a post-nuptial. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. If you want to protect to that extent, but that's kind of playing in both ways also. So it's like all of those things are a little sticky. But I mean, I know some people that are some of my clients that have post-nuptials where, things may have went left at some point and somebody feels as though they need to start doing some protection on, their assets, even though they may be combining things. If this does not go well at the end, then they want to just make sure they at least are leaving out with what they came in and not necessarily being left. So I understand both sides of it, but it just all, to me, the bottom line and the foundation is just that communication, as well as that trust and having conversations about your boundaries. Like I said, where you're comfortable at versus where your partner is comfortable at with finances.
Yeah, I'm just a firm believer in, man, men need women, women need men. Applebee's and Outback is okay for a first date. Cheesecake Factory is okay. Like, you don't gotta fake it till you make it. Basically what I'm trying to say is, whatever works for you and your partner is what works for you and your partner. Like, you really can't even not take advice, but like from, me and Ed, like if that works for you, it works for you. Y'all need to sit down and have a conversation with each other. No matter if y'all got to sit down in the comfort of your home, if y'all need to go on, go to a restaurant and sit down and have a talk, but different talks have to be had, and especially the tough talks, because you basically combining your life with somebody else's life, and y'all preparing to, have a family and bringing other children and other people's lives involved as well. So don't listen to the internet. Don't listen to the naysayers, the outsiders, whatever works for you. If y'all pay 50-50 in the household, 70-30, 100-0, it's all about what works for you. That's what I was saying.
For your family. And Ada basically said the same thing. She said, if you're my emergency contact, then I'll place you on my account. Right. This person can be here as your emergency contact and your, tough times as far as medical situations. But when it comes to finances, then you ducking and hiding and all this other stuff. Like it's just, if you're going to do it, just be all in, to me, or just not do it at all. And like I said, I consider my marriage as, my secret weapon a little bit. Like it's two of us, it's two incomes now, it's two everything. So even if, and it's not saying that person can't do it individually, but it's going to be a different journey a little bit. You know, even if one person, like I said, is paying the bills, the other person is using their money to invest. One person is, you know, covering bills, or like you said, it could be a 50-50 or however y'all have it set up. Just make sure it's something that you guys have had a conversation about. It just seems like in this letter, someone is in the blind a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like he thinks one thing is happening. And to me, let me just add, to me, that's the worst thing ever. Like nothing don't sit right with me as much as, you know, looking a person in the eye that you're supposed to be married to. And it's like, it's a whole different person. Like when you're not standing there, then who are you? Because you showing one thing, but then soon as I'm not standing here or soon as I'm not around, you got $22,000 worth of debt and you're using a card and this and that, but you portraying like everything is cool. Like to me, that's a whole identity situation too. That to me may make your husband feel some kind of way even more than some of this other stuff, because it's just kind of like now you got to sit and reveal this stuff. So you need to reveal it sooner than later is what I say.
Yeah, I agree. Make sure.
All right, so I think we answered the last three questions. And do you want to do any moving to our quick hit segment? And you got any stock quick hits or anything for this evening?
I'll just say for my stocks quick hit, I'll just say just keep an eye on oil stocks. I know it's a lot of stuff going on with oil right now between the United States and the other countries. I think the United States is currently in process of building our own like oil factory right now, and it's supposed to be taking a couple of years. $700 a month going out is a lot. How is she hiding that? Yeah, I agree as well, Miss Rochelle. That is a lot. That's why I'm like, she said that's her minimum monthly payment. So, I mean, like I said, they just need to put in a plan into perspective. Maybe you want to, you know, pay $350 and then another $350, so you don't got to pay the whole $700 at one time. Or like I said, you can, you know, ask ChatGPT, use your resources. Hey, me and my husband create us a plan to, you know, get out of this financial debt, XYZ. So I agree, Miss Rochelle. That is a lot of money, and they probably need to split it in half or split it into, you know, payments throughout the month so that they not just 700 every month, or like I said, whatever works for them. I don't know their account. Like my mom said, I don't know if it's one credit card, if it's 22,000 all off of, you know, different cards and stuff like that. So they have to figure out a plan that works for them. But back to my quick hits, I would just say keep an eye out and do some researches for oil stocks, because the United States is supposed to be, you know, creating oil factories. We are also, I believe, the #1 producing company in oil. And if you just, like I said last week, I haven't really been taking too many trades in the stock market and stuff. I really just been watching because I believe it did I think they said almost $1 trillion was lost, or close to like $1 billion or something like that was lost in the stock market this past week. And that's not a lot compared to how much money is actually in the stock market. I believe it's like a $7.7 trillion market or something like that, specifically for Forex. But just, you know, pay attention to different stocks. If Will's still on here, I think Will has said in the chat, we have a trading chat as well. He was saying, like, if anybody trading this week, just be careful, because the markets was also really, really volatile with all of the war and stuff that's going on. So same as, you know, the finances, just do your research. If you are going to invest in stuff, I would just keep an eye out for oil stocks, Bitcoin, things like that. But the market is volatile with a lot of war and stuff happening right now. So just be careful and do your research.
Yeah, on the real estate side, it's kind of like the same. Like you said, we had interest rates were down. We were closing some 5.75s, and then we were creeping back into the 6s with the war. So right now, it's just a lot of people are in fear. So in our sales training, we talked about just that fear that especially buyers have right now, because we are still in a buyer's market, and we just see a lot of people living day to day in just a bunch of fear. Like oftentimes I'm getting messages that's like, you know, I'm under contract, but like, hey, I don't know what's going to happen with the economy, what's going to happen with the world right now. A lot of people are nervous about making a move. I had a conversation with someone earlier today. They're recently married, interested in purchasing a home, but the wife had to go back to school so that she can get some more income. And she's like, should I wait? What should I do? I'm just kind of nervous. So I'm just seeing, like, right now, just fear in the marketplace. So just like Monte said, just make sound, educated decisions. So if you follow me at any aspect you see, I'm just constantly educating our community. So when you see me posting that, I'm out and about in our community on a consistent basis. I think I easily had 7 different events and seminars I was out at the schools today. I have another seminar tomorrow. If you signed up for my real estate investing seminar tomorrow between 12 and 3, I will see you then. But I'm just trying to educate and offer as many free seminars as I possibly can, because definitely that fear aspect has taken over with all that's going on. People just don't know where they stand. I've seen some states' gas prices, like you just said, have gone up over $5 a gallon. And we just seeing some people just getting to the point where they're interested in investing, but they don't want to start putting money somewhere and possibly lose it. Number one, they're watching their TSP and their 401k. And on top of that, they definitely don't want to get into many long-term commitments, similar, such as purchasing a home or getting an investment property, and they don't know where their finances will stand, especially in the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, I feel like this is, Will said, definitely watch out for the major drops and focus on the trends from months ago until the present time. So that's for all my investors or traders. The market usually repeats itself. Sometimes we'll go back to 2019 and see what the market has done in this exact month, just to see if it's going to repeat itself. So like I said, just, be very careful and make sure you're just paying attention to different moves and stuff. What else was I about to say? I had something else I was about to say too, but I forgot. If you got another one, it'll come back to me in a second. I'm trying to think what I was about to say.
Oh, we got a comment. I think that might be Jordan.
Is that Jordan Bree?
Yes.
Loving
hey,
this
Jordan.
podcast. Thank you, Jordan. We appreciate all y'all for tuning in, man. We've been up here for almost an hour on a Friday. Again, thank you, Will. Thank you, Miss Ada. Thank you, Miss Rochelle. Thank you, Jules, Maurice, everybody that tuned in and, communicating with us. Like I said, we here. That's what I was going to say as well. We here, just like my mom said, we here to, educate and just help each other. Like, we all is here to help our people and, help us out. So I was going to say what I said, I forgot. It just came back to me that even though we're not actually in like quarantine, in a way, I feel like it kind of like we still are in the pandemic. And I only say that because during the pandemic, a lot of people was able to sit down, have a seat, cut out all the unnecessary spending, focus on a different skill or focus on, something that they want to learn, whether you read the newspaper or you watch a podcast or a radio show or, you exercising more. I just feel like this is a really good time to dial in on yourself. You're not missing out on anything. Take the time to learn more information, learn a skill, push yourself to new limits, increase your credit score, learn about real estate, things like that. So I feel like this is definitely a good time for us to cut back on all of the stuff that doesn't really matter. And I was even watching a podcast this week, a guy named Seven Streams. I think I forgot his real name, Dante Falcon or something. Next week I'm gonna have his official first name, but it's definitely D Falcon. His name is Seven Streams, and he is a beast. If you a man and you on here right now, you need to tune into Seven Streams, watch his podcast. He got a lot of gems and stuff. And one of the things that stuck with me that he said we gotta stop. We can't major in minor things. Like, all of that stuff is cool. If you want to do this and that, a turkey drive or this and that, like it's all cool. But at some point, he basically said it's time, like, we don't have enough. As Black people, we don't have enough out here. So it's time to go start taking what's ours and understanding that in order for us to get where, the other kind and the other people is at, then we got to put in more work, or we got to work twice as hard just to get to the same level as where they at. So that kind of stuck with me, that we can't major in minor things. And I feel like this is just the perfect time to stay off the internet, not worry about what other people think. Because like I said, everybody's going through something. So this is the time to really buckle down and push yourself and, see what's the next level you can get to. See if you are able to get that $22,000 down to, $10,000, $5,000 in a couple months. Like, push yourself.
I see Ada left another question in the chat saying, nephew, do you think with this volatile market, should we think about switching 401k over to our IRAs? Let me add that real quick. I would just say the advice on just watching everything right now and being mindful, I think, is the most important advice. I don't want people doing panic selling right now, but be smart about it. You know what I'm saying? If you see things are dropping below your comfort zone, because that's also going to be based off of your age. So I don't want to give a blanket answer to tell everyone to do that. I was talking to someone earlier today, and they were contemplating take a little bit of money out of their 401k. And what I said to them, because they said, I know it's for emergencies, but I said, hey, you're in an emergency. It's time to possibly take it out, or take something out. However, that person is under the age of 30. So that's something totally different if they've collected a little bit of money and they need to go grab, $5,000-$10,000. But based off of your age, and I would kind of watch that. I know that my husband has been doing that as well. He keeps his eye on everything that's happening with his investments and stuff and everything in his retirement plan. And that's something that he's been taking a peek at, where typically you would put it in there and just kind of forget it. But with all that's going on right now, I would make sure that you're keeping an eye on it. And then, when you think that it's that time, don't panic sell, but just be mindful and educate yourself. Like, this is just a time to just educate yourself as much as possible about a little bit of everything and be mindful of things. Like, don't just put things to the wayside the way we used to, like knowing where your credit stands. So many people now, I ask them, do you know what your credit score is? Everybody say they don't know. Why you don't know?
I know people that's scared to open up their bank accounts until they get paid. They're like, I don't even want to see what's in there. If I try to scan it for this Chipotle and I can get it, but I don't even want to look and see what's in there. Yeah, but yes, Miss Ada, I was gonna say literally basically the same thing my mom just said. Like, I wouldn't, I would just wait, watch it a little bit more, and like I said, everybody's situation is different. So I wouldn't, panic or anything like that. I just would come up with a plan, a strategy, and just have understanding. Like, if this happens, then maybe I need to go ahead and make that move. But I would say right now, it's not essential. I would say that. Jules said, I'm not trying to check. I try not to check. I know, Jules. I told y'all people be doing that. I know.
Yeah, Josie always say she don't never know what's in her account. But Josie not a spender, so she fine. She just, get little things here and there. But she definitely be like, I don't even want to look.
Yeah, I was actually just sitting here, maybe last night or 2 nights ago, and I was thinking about some of my siblings have investment properties and stuff, and I'm like, they probably, their investment properties might be here now, it might be here. Like, maybe if they take this out or take this out. But to answer your question, Miss Ada, that was just like thoughts and just a thinking process. But I don't think this is the time to start, hitting your investments and dividends. Like, it's not panic time right now, basically. It's not panic time. It's just time to, still learn more information, sit back, but also understand what is happening, because what is happening there is real. ICE is real. Donald Trump is not playing with nobody. Like my mom said, the gas. I literally went to the gas station the other day and was almost upset about the prices. Like, oh, no way, overnight y'all just changed it like that. So yeah, everything is happening and it is real. So I definitely would just stay woke.
All right, we got a few questions in the chat. Would it be wise to pull from your 401k to remodel your home or buy a piece of land? Again, it really just depends on it. It depends on your age. It depends on how much you have in your 401k. It depends on how much you're trying to take out to remodel. It depends on
the location of the land.
Remodel. Yeah, the location. Like, what's the value in that remodel? If you're going to do something that's not going to bring much value versus what you took out, then maybe it's not as smart to do it. But if you're going to really do something where you haven't had a remodel in your home since you purchased it in 1951, and now that you can bring add $200,000 of value by possibly just even doing $75K worth of work, then that might make sense. So it really just depends on, and again, when it comes to your 401k, it just depends on your age and if you have other investments. So that's why I'm really big on diversifying your portfolio also. Don't put all your eggs in your 401k basket. So I know Ada had a question too about, having a 401k in a Roth. It said, I was thinking of taking 20% out my 401k and placing it into my Roth. I would actually, just look into those numbers. I was at the bank the other day. Shout out to my people at Wells Fargo, my local bank. Sometimes I stop in there just to talk to them and chat for 2 or 3 hours. Everybody at the bank knows me. But they were telling me that they had a really, really good product that's giving real good returns. So just shopping around to see, what they have, what it can provide versus what you have in your 401k. I think it's a good time to, again, start sitting down and looking at things and reassessing it. What I feel like our community does so much is that we will put things in place and leave it. Like we'll say, I've been with State Farm for 35 years. We'll be proud of that. You should go back and reassess things like your homeowner's insurance. State Farm is not going to call you up, and I'm just picking on State Farm. They're not going to call you up to say that you are eligible for some kind of discount. Those things also are wrapped into your mortgage payment. So when people are looking to decrease their mortgage payment even by $100, maybe you can look into your insurance and maybe jump in from State Farm over to seeing what Geico had for you and what kind of bundle deal they can package you in, may save you $100. But we just get so complacent with certain things. We put things in place and we keep it there because, again, our community doesn't like to go and bother things. You know, they feel like, I don't want to mess things up and make it worse. But education is what allows you to not do that. So the more you educate yourself and the more knowledgeable you are, then there's not a way that you can mess it up. You can only help yourself if you are knowledgeable about what you're doing. Oh, I got that question already. Okay, about the land. So that's my advice. Educate yourself as much as possible. This is a learning time. You know, don't sit back on the wayside and don't have the information when the resources are there. You know what I'm saying? Like the resources are there, readily available more than ever. And we were talking about this the other day. I might even say now in this day and age that we may have too many resources because people don't know what to believe. People don't know what to trust. It's too much out there. It's too much information. You put enough things in Google over and over and over, it may eventually tell you what you want to hear because there's just so much information that's out there. So it's just so much information to continue to educate yourself, but just educate yourself as much as possible. If it's something that you're curious about it, become the expert in that field. You know what I'm saying? If you have a 203B, become an expert in 203Bs, how they work, how they operate, when you should go back and reevaluate them, at what point should you have a certain amount of money in there. And then everybody's going to have a different goal for what retirement looks like and what they're looking to achieve. So just making sure you stay on that path also, depending on age, that if you start pulling some money out, that when it becomes time for retirement, now you're not stuck and you basically can't move forward to retire or possibly have to pick up additional income or not live the life that you planned on living just because now you don't have the dollar amount to sustain that lifestyle that you have, or even primarily even cover your mortgage, cover your basic bills. You know, I see a lot of people doing reverse mortgages at a certain age because they retire and they can't even pay their mortgage anymore because they haven't set up to maintain it. And that's how a lot of people are losing their properties. I think we had a good night tonight. We had a good show. I see, let me see, Jordan in the chat again. She said, yes, same. Okay, yes, Jordan, you know you'll be investing.
Jordan be out here selling them books. I heard you selling them books this week, Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan don't play. She a little businesswoman. She be selling my books, selling my courses. Jordan be making my money out there. Yes, anytime I have events, if you see my daughter Jordan over at the table, she over there working. She a little businesswoman and she don't be playing. She be pushing. She don't be playing. She attacked me, Mom. Check and make sure they pay because I wasn't really sure. Like she checking it. If you pay via Zelle or Cash App, Jordan will hunt you down to make sure she see that sent button. Jordan do not be playing. But yes, thank you, Jordan, for tuning in. We really appreciate you being here.
And I appreciate all y'all engagement today, man. It's a lot of good feedback in the chat today. We definitely appreciate it.
Yes, I'm glad we got our stream good so that people can really tune in because we got a lot of information and a lot of things planned to really grow this show. So I'm really happy that you guys are there. Oh, Ada left another comment. She said, exactly. We're moving from State Farm to USAA. Complacency can be the security blanket that we treat like the blanket grandma had to us as a child. Exactly. Like so many people are just afraid to make a move. And I don't understand that. That's okay, Ada. She said, sorry for the cycle. People are just afraid. And I just don't know why. They're scared to call and see about their own circumstances. They'd rather just be blind to everything. And I just never really understood that. I want to know where I stand. I want to know my situation, whether it's bad or good. Then I would want to know. So I just say at this time, just educate yourself as much as possible. If you're interested in getting investment properties, I have a free seminar tomorrow. You still have time. Come on out. I never turn anybody away. Come on out and just sit and get the information because you always want to leave with more information than what you came in with. Jordan says she don't understand. People are afraid to make moves.
We got to get it, Jordan. They playing around out here.
Listen, y'all know my children is going to be about making moves. So these are my children in the chat. Yes, but in closing, I was just going to say, do you have any mental health words that you want to say or any last words that you want to add to close us out this evening?
I kind of was giving it throughout the.
Oh,
She
Ms.
said, "Do you
Rochelle
ever
said,
take
do I
your
ever
classes?"
take my classes? I typically don't. When I have in-house training with my agents, a lot of those are recorded for training purposes for them to go back to watch it. But I typically don't because people are asking personal, private questions. So if you're not there, then I don't like to put, I'm very, it's very sensitive to me when it comes to finances because we tell people at the seminars, there's no bad questions, there's no stupid questions. So people are often raising their hands with that fear to ask certain things that are personal and they get comfortable in the room, but to tape it and put it out there to everyone, then I typically don't do that. But I do plan on possibly implementing some webinars in the future. I don't know about recording those either. It just would depend on, people's comfort zone because oftentimes they're recorded, but then putting it back out to the public, that would be something that I have to think about. But I do want to include some webinars. A lot of times we do kind of only in-person things right now, just because I like it more personable. Okay, you said you have service tomorrow. Okay, well, I'm probably going to do a few this year. So like my first time home buyer seminars, I offer every single month. The investment seminars, I try to host those at least 3 or 4 times a year. And I also try to do financial literacy seminars at my office at least 3 or 4 times a year. So if you are not on our mailing list, then just send me something in the chat and I'll add you to my email list so that I can make sure you don't miss any of the events. All right, any last words? I think I missed your last.
My mental health take. I just was saying. I basically was saying it through the like as we was talking. Basically, just run your own race. That's all I really had to say. Run your own race. Don't look at what other people is doing. And like I was saying, I think I said this last week or the week before. Like, just take some time and sit down with yourself and be transparent with yourself about where you at in life. You're not behind the 8 ball, and you always can better your situation. So give yourself some grace, run your own race, and just, push yourself. You can't have nobody out here that wants it more than, you want it for yourself. So I know that with y'all being on here on Friday with us, tapped into, Finance Fridays, that you guys want this information, and, it just shows that y'all want better. It's a certain, some people like to party and go to the club. Some people like to, learn information. Some people is a mix in the middle. So just do whatever works for you, and just be transparent with yourself. Understand the people that's around you, and understand that we only have one life. So let's get it.
We have one more comment in the chat. Ada said, "Nope, get your money, no freebies." So I'll follow up. We always end with Monte's mental health moment of the evening, but let me just end by saying, money may not be able to buy you happiness, but money can get you out of bad situations. So get your money right, 100%. Make sure your money and your finances are right at all times. And just think about it tonight as we end this session. Any situation that you're in right now, could money possibly fix it? Could money possibly make it a lot better? So that's why it's so important to make sure that you understand financial literacy, you understand money, you understand how money works, because it is a science to this. Don't just blindly be out there doing things. It is a science to money. It's a science to investing. And my final statement will be, you will never, ever, ever reach wealth from your job and your 9 to 5. You must invest.
Yep, you're not going to save your way to wealth. You have to invest
your way to wealth. You must invest. So we have to learn these investments. We have to learn and educate ourselves, because you will never, ever, ever save your way to wealth. You must invest. So that's my final thing for tonight. That's my final take. Do you have anything else to add, or we
Nope. Make your money work for you. Make your money, make more money for yourself, and make sure y'all subscribe to Finance Fridays.
Yes, we be forgetting to say that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure that you are following the links. But if you are on our YouTube, go back and subscribe to MacArthur Realty Group and click the notifications. So we're streaming on YouTube and Facebook, but we always forget to say like and subscribe. Everybody hit the like button if you're on YouTube before you get off the stream this evening. And if you're not on YouTube, go over and subscribe to our YouTube and hit the like button so we can put this out in the algorithm so other people can be able to view it and we can grow this platform, because we would love to get this information out to as many people as possible. And we appreciate you guys for tuning in this evening. another episode of Finance Friday, the CEO Lounge.
Thank you guys, and we'll see y'all next Friday.
Yes, God
Peace.
bless.